Hello friends! Today our tutorial will not be in service stack, but instead we're going to go over a simple thing that is often overlooked. In C Sharp, people tend to use something called an auto mapper, which is a lot of work. In fact, too much work for what it provides. Sometimes setting up the auto mapper is more work than actually just writing it out by hand. And for use case scenarios, there's something called an implicit and an explicit operator. An implicit operator, the difference between it and the explicit one is implicit will just sort of guess if there's only one option, and explicit tells you I am changing between these two types. So let's go over this code. We can skip the main for now. If you wish to make your main a asynchronous function, you remove the void and you add async task, but we'll go over that later. Configure away, it's very important. We'll go over that too. So I've created here, go away. I have created here, or I guess we can have one. The test explorer is fine. I like the test explorer. It's friendly. We have just an enum. This doesn't have to be internal as the default. I left it called job title. You have the junior developer, you have the senior level, and you have the highest level, the ender developer. And then we have a interface. On the interface, we will put our properties that we want this concept to have, and we're going to keep it basic here, whether or not they are employed and what their pay rate is. Then we create an abstract class. This will house what logic we think any inheriting classes will have, and it will implement a few of them that will always be the same on every class, such as pay rate, employed, etc., fire. We also have this static method acting as a factory generating our developers. We're using the new it's either in 9 or 10 C Sharp, the new match-like syntax for switch, which is very nice. Very, very nice. And I've raised the return statement out of the switch. So you see it is much more readable. So the switch says, does the job title want a junior, a senior, an ender? What is their pay rate? And it returns the appropriate developer object. Very nice. Very nice. And there is a default here because it sort of asks you to put a default if none of these match, but since it's an enum and we have filled all of them out, they always match, so we would just ignore. You actually don't have to put this here. I just put it there so you could see the throwaway operator. It does not complain too much. So we'll go ahead and remove that underneath there. So let's go back up to our logic here. First, we say hello world, because all good programs start with a hello world. It's very much tradition. And then we are hiring developers. We hire an ender level developer at 9,000 a month. We hire a junior developer at roughly 3,500 a month. And then we do a project. We are using tasks.delay. The reason I have put this in here because a lot of people do not know how to use async await properly in C Sharp. You must configure await. Configuring await false prevents deadlocking, especially if you are on something like a UI thread and are using async tasks. You must always use configure await. This activates the action immediately. Okay, what this does is it will on the event loop, instead of putting it into a queue and hoping it hits right, and it could be in the queue for longer than, like, let's say if this was 300, it could be in the queue longer than that. And then the UI thread also can have scheduling. The task scheduler can have conflicts with other things in there. So you say, no, I just want to wait right now. I'm still running. Let me write right now. And then we will show a usage of the promote function, which I actually forgot for jar new senior developer equals junior.promote, and let's explicitly say this is a senior developer. Oh, it does not like that because it does not have an implicit operator for it. So we'll add an explicit cache. There we go. Now, that's the difference between implicit and explicit. Implicit, you must still tell it which one. If it was, explicit. For implicit, there's only two, so it knows what to put it towards. But since we can promote the senior developer again, and we can say they've spent 20 iters now developing, say new ender equals ender developer, new senior dot promote $10,000. And there you go. That is how explicit and implicit works. Now let's get to how we wrote some code for this. If you go down here, we'll look at this one last. Junior developer, when they're promoted, it creates a new senior developer object, copies over the pay rate, and pops it back up to you. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Oh, we have forgotten something. We need to make sure that the senior developer dot, oh no, we haven't. Yes, we have. Employed is true. Oh wait, that is a init only, is it not? I see. Oh, looks like we already took care of it in the explicit cast. Very nice, very nice. So I guess we have nothing else to do there. Similarly, when a senior developer is promoted, this is all the code we have to write. If we take away the explicit cast, which is here, we're saying a senior developer becomes an ender developer. C# no longer knows what to do here. It does not know, even though they share the same base class, it does not know what to do. It says, these are similar objects, but what goes where? Do I put my thumb up my ass, or do I put it in my ear? Who knows? So you must, with auto mapping, it'd be like 40 pages of code to tell it to do this. Anyways, this is a short and sweet one. So the static explicit, now there is an implicit operator here. This is a static explicit, says when we're getting a senior developer and we want an ender developer, call this function with the senior developer as the value. So up here, we said senior developer, we want a senior developer. Junior promote returns a developer. But we have to explicitly cast it. Whoopsie, I'm not in writer, am I? No, it's F12. And you go to promote. You go, oh, you can't promote an ender developer. That's the highest level you ever get. But a junior developer, when it promotes, it creates a senior developer, which returns a developer type. From the base abstract class. It says, here you go. And that's it. You will now save thousands of hours of code and millions of dollars in production because you know how an implicit and explicit operator works. Let's run it once. There we go. Hello world, hiring developers, excellent. It was a success, and have a very nice day.